Okay, hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Sophia Sadie. So, today I'm going to do another episode of my Authentic Aura show. And yeah, I'm really excited to get back into it. I'm going to try my best to film this whole show because I have two babies and sometimes things don't go to plan, but I love doing these shows and I think it's so much fun and I have so many opinions and just want to share my opinions with the world because that's how I am. I don't know, Sag Moon. And yeah, I just think I have a perspective that's worth sharing. I'm 3-5 in human design, so I'm supposed to just bump into things, make mistakes, and then learn wisdom from that, and then share that wisdom and guide others. So if you're a 3-5 in human design, you can relate to this. I don't know a whole ton about human design. I've just researched more here and there, but it's very accurate and very interesting, and it uses astrology. And yeah, I've just always been obsessed with astrology and the fact the more you research, the more true you understand it to be, and it just makes the most sense out of anything belief system. So I love it, and it just is such a blessing to know your astrology and your human design. It will really amplify and elevate your life, truly. So tomorrow I am 13 weeks postpartum, and it's been amazing. It's been such a journey. I realized that at 12 weeks is when I really start leveling out and feeling like I'm getting a grip on things a little bit. And I wish I kind of remembered that because I was trying so hard. Oh, it's been 6 weeks. I should be back to getting a grip on things and, leveling out. But it's really 12 weeks where I start feeling kind of leveled out and that I can kind of actually become healthier and everything, because I don't know what it was, but I've been so lightheaded the end of my pregnancy and even like postpartum, and I started taking more iron again and I'm feeling a lot better, but also working out, I was so lightheaded and I just felt like I couldn't fully work out and that it was just so hard to work out. And now I'm feeling like, oh, I can actually work out and I feel like I'm making progress. And I've been to like 4 yoga classes and I'm feeling now I can actually make progress. Before it was just getting to a place where I could actually feel like I could fully work out. And now I'm like, okay, now I can start making progress and feel healthier and feeling like I'm not out of breath or lightheaded and I can move around. And it's just, life is so much better when you're in shape. It really is. It's so much easier. You just can do more. You have more energy. I just hate not being in shape. I just felt horrible. I don't know. It's just, I am someone who has to be in shape so I can do everything I want to do and have energy for it and stuff. So I'm excited that I'm feeling more and more like I have that ability back. And yeah, I'm just feeling good. Asher's the happiest baby ever. He's like smiles all day. He's just like, he sleeps in. He's such a sleeper. Like he's such a good sleeper. I co-sleep with him and he'll wake up after me and Aurora have been up for like an hour and he just wakes up smiling and cooing. Like he's just so happy and he's just such a chill baby. But that's not to say that it's like so easy. Like I don't think there's really any easy babies really, because he doesn't want to be held all the time and he's been teething and it's just like, he's a baby he's a Cancer. Like he's just so cuddly and loving, but he also like, he just wants to be held all day, or sometimes will just cry if I'm not holding him. So that's the hard part with the toddler. And like, so I have to wait till I put him to bed at night to do all the household chores and stuff because it's like, he'll cry if I set him down for like 5 minutes. But he's such a happy baby for the most part. And then, so what I wanted to talk about is because I am a housewife, but I'm like the modern version, not like the 50s regular housewife. And I think a lot of like the trad wives are trying to go back to like the 1950s, 1980s, whatever, and be like, we need to go back and be the original housewives, how housewives used to be, how moms used to be. And I just think that we evolved for a reason. And yeah, I think we maybe made some wrong turns with the whole thing, like feminism not accounting for the fact that it's healthiest for moms to stay home for the first 3 years. So I think that's a big thing. But I also think we've evolved as humans and women do love to work and do things and create things, whatever that may look like. Obviously, motherhood's work and everything. But a lot of women want to have something they're creating. They want to have a business. They want to have something they're pouring their energy into outside of just motherhood. And that's not a negative thing. So I don't think it has to be one or the other. But I think we need to find the right balance. I think we're like going, oh, you're either a working mom or you need to be like the 1950s stay-at-home mom, super traditional. And I think the most beneficial and best option, this isn't for everyone, but I think if we want to generalize it, is somewhere in the middle, obviously. And I think it is, if the mom wants to stay home for the first 3 years, she should be able to do that. And I know that's not like everyone's going to be like, oh, that's not possible for everyone. I understand that. But like, let's set it up and have that in our minds, because we don't even have that in our minds. We're not even telling women that right now when they're in their early 20s, before they get married or have kids or whatever. You might want to stay home once you have kids. Like, this needs to be told to women, and it's not. It's just like, oh, just get a job that doesn't account for that at all. And then once you have kids, you're like, oh my God, I cannot imagine leaving this baby at 6 weeks old. And no one told me this is how I'm going to feel, right? So we need to have that told to women, that you are going to change so much when you have babies, and most women may want to stay home with their babies, and it's healthiest for the baby if you stay home at least for a year, but the first 3 years are like super major. So there's just such a fine balance, because staying home all the time can be so draining, because we don't live in villages and communities where we're sharing the childcare. I saw a thing where it said, like, in these hunter-gatherer, where we evolved from, it was like 25% of the childcare was actually on the mother. It was like shared between 10 people. So it's not natural for it to all be on the mom. It's definitely a huge stress. It's definitely unhealthy for the mom, because your nervous system is like shot. It's very stressful. So we have to find a new modern balance, because we don't live in those hunter-gatherer societies. We don't live in those kind of communities. So what I found that works for me, because being just a stay-at-home mom is just too much of one thing, and you need to have more balance in your life. At least for me, everyone's different. But I think for most people, a little bit of balance is good. So of course, when I first had Aurora, I was like, I can't leave her at all, because the first years, I wasn't really prioritizing going to yoga, going out without her at all, except to like get my nails done, because I just was like, I felt so bad leaving it at all. But I think we have to weigh the pros and cons and realize that now I go to yoga every single week, and I started right as I could go. And then now I have one day a week where I can film and do this, and I have help for that. And that makes such a difference, doing that in the beginning, still having a little bit of work I can do towards my career and business while I'm mostly with them, and I'm still near them, and I'm still around them, and like, I was doing my makeup, they come around me, I help with the babies, like, I'm not fully gone. And that for me is the best balance I found, is finding something I can do once a week, still in the house, and maybe when he's a little bit older, twice a week, and it's just like adding more and more as they get older, but still being around, still being available, and not being away too much. I think that's the perfect balance in the first 3 years, is having that help here and there, and having those breaks, and having that time to pour into yourself and your creativity or whatever you're building at least once a week, and having time to exercise at least once a week, and self-care. So that's the balance I found, if you're a stay-at-home mom, you really need, because going back to whatever it was in the 1950s, I don't know, I wasn't there, but the trad wife movement is really trying to go back, where all the childcare is like on the mom. There's like, you're fully a stay-at-home mom, you don't do anything. Like, we have to find the modern balance, and the balance that's like realistic in the world we live in, that's actually the most healthiest, because yes, it's very healthy for your kids to be with you all the time before they're 3, but then it's going to weigh on your health, because it's not how was naturally to have it all on you. So we've got to find a new balance in this world we're living in, that not everything's perfect, not everything's the ideal, but we've got to consider the mom's health too, because that bleeds into the baby's health 100%. Like if the mom is not happy or healthy, that will affect the children too. So you really have to weigh the pros and cons. And so I think if you're becoming a new mom and you're staying home with your babies, because I can only speak from that because that's what I do, definitely prioritize once a week going out of the house to work out, because you're not going to have time if you stay in the house. Like there's not time. You're exhausted at the end of the night. There's no way you're going to do a home workout for the most part unless you get them to bed really early. Um, so once a week, work out outside of the house, and then once a week, a time to pour into your creative or business or whatever endeavors, or if you're not doing that self-care, you know, go get a massage or a facial, or just go lay out in the sun, whatever it is, nails done, hair done, whatever, once a week. So I think having those 2 days a week to do something for yourself for a couple hours or a few hours is everything. It will make such a difference. And I think it's a necessity for this modern housewife. I think we've got to find a new way. We're not going back to the trad wife, but we also don't have to follow the feminist route where we just fully work outside of the home and have not enough time with our kids. I think there needs to be a balance. And I think that we need to tell women, you need to tell your future spouse or your spouse now, when we have kids, I want to be able to stay home in the first year or first 3 years, because that's what's healthiest. And trust me, in the first year after having a kid, your body is going through so much hormones, everything. I couldn't imagine, having to go back into work. And I know a lot of women do, and that's more power to you and amazing. And if you want to do that, do that. But for me personally, I think that would be just so much. That's why so many moms stop breastfeeding, because pumping and then working, it's just a lot. It's just not even fair. It's not fair, because you're doing your body recalibrating as a job in itself, and then caring for a baby is a job in itself. It's like, it's not fair to make women work in the first year after having a baby like that, like full time like that. It's like insane. And so my heart goes out to all you moms, and maybe some moms enjoy it. So I'm not saying it's bad for everyone, but in general, a lot of moms should have at least the option to not work in the first year after having a baby, because it's just such a big change in every way and so much on you in every way. So I think that needs to be accounted into the feminist movement, is what about women when we have children? Let's think about that, because that is inherently women role. It's nothing a man will go through. So let's realize there's huge difference between men and women, and we cannot be treated the same in the workforce and in life and in careers. We are very different. We're cyclical. We don't wake up and have a burst of testosterone every morning like men and then stay on that vibe. We are on a cycle throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month. We are showing up different every step of our cycle, and we cannot be straight shooters like men and show up the same every day, work the same amount, push through everything, and just fully burn through. Like, we are not like that in any way. One day we will be exhausted. One day we will wake up happy. One day we will wake up angry. That's the beauty of womanhood. We are on a cycle forever. We're cyclical. We're not linear, going up, or I don't know what line men are on. I'm not a man, but so yeah, let's find the new version of the perfect balance of housewife, not go back to the trad wife. We got to find the new modern version that accounts for womanhood and femininity and motherhood in its true form, not just what you think it can be and trying to force us into a box with men and acting like a man, because forcing you to go back right after you give birth to a baby is trying to treat you like a man, and we're not. So let's really value womanhood, because this modern feminist movement isn't really valuing all the aspects of womanhood. It's just trying to treat us like men, and that's actually undermining your whole movement. And let's actually account for what women go through and womanhood, and let's find a new route that we can protect motherhood, because we're raising the next generation, and babies who are not healthily attached to their mothers, their mental health suffers, and it affects everyone in society. It affects everyone around them. It affects their relationships for life. The first 3 years will affect their relationships and their attachment to everyone for the rest of their life. That's how important the first 3 years are. So we have to figure that out. That's like the cornerstone of our society. That's like the beginning of the next generation. That is everything. Why do you think we have so much mental health issues right now? Babies are not forming that healthy attachment to their mothers. And it is the foundation of their mental health for the rest of their life and their relationships for the rest of their life. So it's so important. We need to find a way that all mothers can stay home in the first year, because that's how important it is. And I know a lot of women have been programmed and told that it's not important or that you don't need to, but it's kind of a need, and it's so important. And I'm not putting down any mother that doesn't currently have that option, but start thinking about a way to make that possible for mothers now. And we just need to talk about it, and we need to acknowledge the truth of it, because it's true. And maybe you don't like this true, but it is. And maybe it's inconvenient and maybe it's uncomfortable, but it's so important, at least the first year, and ideally the first 3 years. And 3 years can sound like a lot, but it goes so fast and it's so important, and you don't get those times back. And to me, it's worth it. And just, you can still have a life. And I think that's what's so important. And I think that's what will help women want to stay home, because if they feel like their life is completely sucked away and they're just a mom, that's of course going to be really hard, because you do need balance in your life. I tried it with Aurora. I tried to just completely just be the mom, which is amazing, and she's so healthily attached to me, but like I needed more balance in my life, and that's what caused a lot of my postpartum, I think. Depression and stuff is not having more of that balance. So now this time around I'm prioritizing, the balance of it more, and it makes all the difference, and it makes you realize staying home is the ideal for you. It is the best option. It is so rewarding, and you can still have that aspect of yourself that's you. I don't like to say outside of motherhood, because it's all motherhood and it's all beautiful. Everything once you become a mom is motherhood. But just like outside of just caregiving, you still have other things you do, you still have hobbies, and you still, see friends and have creative pursuits and things you're building. So, yeah, I just think finding that right balance for you is so important, and understanding what works for you when you become a new mom is so important. And it's kind of like, for me, it was trial and error. Maybe it's different maybe people can learn from this video and set up their life beforehand and have things set up beforehand. That's like, okay, I need this once I become a mom. So yeah, trad wife, being a wife, marriage is such a beautiful thing. And I think I was definitely not told that growing up. It was like during a lot of the feminist times, and it wasn't really told to me how important it was for women, especially if you have children. I know this sounds like it's like a conservative religious thing, but it's just factually true. If you have children with a man, being married, especially if you're staying home in the first year, is such an important thing. We got married when Aurora was 4 months old, actually, because a life coach we were talking to told us, like, of course you're having these struggles, because staying home with a baby all day and you're not married, that is a very vulnerable place to be. You being married, if you're staying home with your baby, is like an essential, because that protects you in having that you are married to your husband when he's working, and that you are you are together working. But if it's just you're not married and you're staying home with your child, it's a lot more unstable for you, and you don't know, you're not, half and half with your husband. You're just, because you're not married, you're just on your own. That's not, it's beneficial for women to be married, especially if you're going to have kids. Get married first. From trial and error, 3-5 experience, get married. We got married when Aurora was 4 months old. I'm glad we did. We should have just got married right before we decided to get pregnant, honestly, but that would have been so soon. People would be like, you got married after what, 2 months of dating, 3 months of dating? Like, people would have been like, but who cares, obviously. We were on our own timeline. But I'm just saying, like, just women nowadays, I feel like I've seen reels of this recently saying marriage is patriarchal suppression, it's oppressive to women. It's like so the opposite, especially if you're having kids and staying home. It protects you, it benefits you. You should be married. It is a good thing for women to be married. It multiplies your life. It gives you the support as a woman you need and the safety and security. Women seek security just like men seek like looks or whatever. Women need security. We need that foundation that men provide. And if you aren't seeking that, that's unfair to undermine women and tell them that we shouldn't want to be married. It is such a benefit for women. It is such a good thing for women. When women feel safe and secure, they are completely different human beings than when they don't. So it's just so important. And it's not suppressive. It's the opposite. I can't believe everything's just like told to us the opposite. Yeah, so another thing with motherhood is like the whole thing I see when I follow women who are moms to multiple children and they work out so hard and they get their body backs, and then people will be like, oh, genetics. It's like, no, it's freaking hard, especially the second time around. It's harder to lose the weight. It's been harder for me. It is work. I wear my Apple Watch now. My husband got me the new one, and I'm like tracking everything. I track my calories. I go to yoga. I make sure I get enough steps. It's like I'm putting in the work. And then once I finally get my body back, people are going to be like, oh, genetics. It's like, no, so many people don't put in the work, and that's why they're not there. So either put in the work or don't. No one's forcing you to. But when the people that actually do, actually give them the credit. You know, it's like so annoying. It's like the people that actually work and build something or work on themselves, it's like, oh, you know, genes. Like that was told to me, like, oh, you won the genetic lottery. That's why you have the life you have. I'm like, what are you talking about? I work so hard to actually improve the way I look and work on the way I look, and I style myself and I do my makeup, and I learned makeup and I learned how to look good even without makeup, just like working on my skin and I'm always working on myself, and it shows. But if I didn't work on myself and pour into myself, I wouldn't look this way. And so it's like, actually give people the credit where it's due. When they pour into themselves and work on themselves, it shows, and that's where it is. It's not genetics for the most part for most people. Some people have more genetic beauty maybe, or more genetic predisposition to be athletic, but no one's going to look amazing if they're not working on themselves and pouring into themselves. So give people credit. Stop undermining credit and saying genes. It's not true. I could look a lot worse right now if I kept doing drugs, if I kept drinking, if I didn't pour into myself, if I didn't work out. Like, I would not be in shape as I am, and I would not be looking as I am. So it's not genes. It's me doing it for myself. Maybe a somewhat genes, but not fully, because I work on myself in a lot of ways and my looks and all that. So do it for yourself, or don't complain when others do it. Like, it's like people get mad that you work on yourself too. And it's like, why can't you just give people the credit, or just don't say anything if you're not doing it for yourself? I think people are just don't want to admit to themselves that they're not putting in the effort to pour into themselves for whatever reason, because we all have that ability to do that. Yeah, so with the whole Charlie Kirk thing, I'm like beyond it. Like, obviously I have right-leaning values and I have more of those opinions, but like now when I saw a lot of the conservative people trying to get people on the left canceled and trying to go people on the left's work and get them fired, like, I don't agree with that. I don't like that. Like, let the universe handle things, first of all. Second of all, like, I just don't like that. That's like feels very liberal to me. That's like one of the big reasons I don't like liberals, is because they try to cancel you, they try to control you, they try to end your life if you don't agree with them. Like, I don't like that. I get it's a step further in crossing a boundary when it's someone who was killed, of course. but I still don't like that energy. And now I'm feeling like this was set up. There's a lot of like, if I intuitively feel like something's off with this whole thing, and so many other people are too, most likely something's off. There's a lot we don't know. And this is like a whole CIA setup in some way for whatever reason. I don't know, but it just feels really off. And I feel like it's too easy to just say, oh, it is real. I feel like that's another pathway they just wanted to go. If it's so easy to just be like, oh, let's blame this group of people, it might not be that, So I'm just saying I don't know what it is, but I don't trust either side of politics. There's things I agree with more on the right for sure, but it doesn't mean that I trust either side and know what's happening. So I'm just observing, because could all just be a show too. We never know. So that's where I'm at right now with everything. Yeah, I'm just like not taking either side now, and just, which I was that's how I was at the beginning. And then I took more of a right-leaning stance because of how wild the left was going, that I didn't agree with anything they were talking about. And I agreed with a lot with what the right was standing for. But now I'm just kind of like sitting back and observing and just kind of like, I don't know, And so, yeah, just working on myself and improving myself, like through therapy, which I know I talk about therapy here and there. It's just because how much it's been helping me. And therapy is about, I think it just shows a lot of, when someone goes to therapy, it's about confronting yourself and wanting to work on yourself and wanting to be real with yourself and improve yourself, improve your life, and improve your relationships. So I think if someone's willing to go to therapy, it says a lot. And it's uncomfortable at times, it's hard at times, it's emotional, but it's so worth it. And I think it takes a lot of like shopping around, dating around to find the right therapist. But I finally found one that like really works for me and my style and my personality. And this took a while, you guys. I've gone on and off throughout my life. So I finally found someone who I really click with. And it's such a blessing. And it's really been helping me, and having that support, especially during postpartum and motherhood. It's just amazing to have that support and someone to talk to and someone to be a reflection for you and a mirror, and someone to help you through situations in your life in the most healthy manner. That's what I love about therapy, is like, say you're going through something really confusing and difficult with family. The therapist can help you navigate that in the healthiest way and understand how to respond, how to handle things, what's right, what's wrong in a psychological standpoint, what's a good way to do things. So I just love that. If you're going through something difficult in life, it's just such a good support system to help you navigate things. That's what I never really fully considered about therapy. I was like, wow, it's such a good tool to navigate difficult things in life, So I just love that. And so just saying I'm grateful for that and what it's done for my life so far. And yeah. So yeah, I'm just on my spiritual vibe in my own way right now. When I got a tarot reading for my 19th birthday in Santa Cruz, my mom bought me a tarot reading from like this psychic at this like crystal store in Santa Cruz. And she told me the second I met her, she walked out from behind like the back room where they do the psychic readings or whatever, the tarot readings. And she looks at me, and the first thing she said, I saw orbs around her head. There was like orbs. And she was like, you're psychic too. That's the first thing she said to me. I was like, oh my God. Yeah, I am. So I was like, she's legit, because she could sense that right away. And then she did my tarot reading, and she said that, I think I still have the picture of my tarot reading. I should look at my images. She said that I'm paving a new spiritual path. I wish I recorded it, but I'm paving a new spiritual path for others to walk down. And I didn't know what that meant at the time, but now I'm knowing more and more as my path unfolds that my new spiritual path that I'm paving is like being unique, being yourself. You can still be sexy and spiritual. You can still be unique and spiritual. You can still be whatever, be an individual. You can still speak your mind. You can still dabble in politics. You can still like makeup. You can still be your unique self. You can still not be 100% holistic. You can still just be who you are and be extremely spiritually aligned and spiritually in tune. You know, you don't need all these outside tools or outside aesthetic to be spiritual. You know, I think that's a big new thing in spirituality I'm paving, because it kind of had to look a certain way before and it doesn't have to now. And also, and I feel like my husband paved that a lot too, obviously in his own way, but maybe I'm paving that for women more. Okay, guys, so I gotta go.
You don't have to go.
No, I do, because I was already done with my documents. I was trying to find a photo of my tarot reading, but I can't find it. I don't have my old photos. Okay, anyways, guys, I have to go. So this was Authentic Aura, my next episode. So I'll be seeing if I do this every week, but sometimes I might want to vlog or do different videos. So it's kind of just like what video, you know, I'm able to do that week or feeling like doing that week. So yeah, I do want to do an updated makeup tutorial soon, so I might do that soon. I don't know if next week, but we'll see. But I'm going to be filming every Thursday now, so